At Nationals Park, Lucas Giolito allowed only one hit in his rain-shortened big league debut. Wilson Ramos is still on fire. Bryce Harper crushed his 16th, and the Nats shut out the Mets to win the series. Max Scherzer gets the fun started tonight, while the skipper looks for a clean sweep in the finale.
Why not make a statement in the month of June? It's almost over. July and the All-Star game not that far from us. Yeah, hi to you too, buddy. He's got his Harper gear on. The Nats looking for 3 in a row against the Mets last night. Beautiful night at Nationals Park. And despite the rain and the interruptions, it was a feel-good evening here last night. The Nats won the ball game. Lucas Giolito was great. Bryce homered. All these things working together, FP. And I think this ball club's ready to make a move further from where they are right now.
Yeah, what a difference a few days make, right? Get a getaway day win, get back in your white uniforms, get home, and then all of a sudden the unexpected news, Lucas Giolito's called up. We've heard a lot about him. We never get to see him pitch. We got to see him pitch for the first time last night, so the ballpark was buzzing. We were excited, and I thought he did a really good job of just comporting his emotions last night. So much going on. I think this play right here by Daniel Murphy with Curtis Granderson on third to end the first inning was the biggest play of the game. It was 1-0 at that point. If it's 1-1, who knows what happens over there? So he gets the double play. He waves to the crowd. He's a rock star in D.C. already. We love what we saw from Lucas Giolito.
Gio and Giolito. So a great night for the Nats. Now it's time to move on and try to further dominate this season series with the Mets. It was kind of even coming into the series, but it is no longer. The Nats have scored 16 runs in a row in this series after the Mets took the early lead Monday night.
Well, the Mets are down. I mean, they're lowest in the league in runners in scoring position, 207 average. They've scored the least amount of runs in baseball. They've sent guys to AAA. They have guys hurt. Their staff is all banged up with bone spurs everywhere. I mean, you have to take advantage of the defending National League champions when they're down. There's no mercy. Nobody feels sorry for him, and Max Scherzer's going to try to take advantage of a depleted Mets lineup tonight.
Yeah, and people are wondering when is Max going to put together 4 or 5 great starts and keep it in the ballpark. But I would say the ERA trending pretty well. Up there in April, a little lower in May, and now even better in the month of June. And this is the time of the year, we found out before, Max likes this time of the year because things really start to mean something from here on.
Yeah, I was kind of creeping on Max and Mike Maddox in their bullpen session in Milwaukee on Sunday morning. We got there early, and they were really working on the body, staying in line with home plate and just letting the arm follow. So we'll keep an eye on Max's alignment tonight more than anything, and his arm angle. It's been dropping down lately. So you feel like he made the adjustments, and we'll look for him here tonight.
One more major cog to fall into place on this big wheel. It's the bat of Bryce Harper. Now, he's hit the ball hard a couple of times the last 2 nights. Bryce's homer last night, number 16. RBI total up to 46, so he's 4 for 7 the last 2 nights. A homer, 3 driven in against the Mets. On base, 20 of the last 22 games.
Nationals baseball on MASN, brought to you by PNC Bank. For the achiever in you. By Eastern Lexus, some things are simply impossible to ignore. The strikingly designed Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid. And by Ocean City, Maryland. Let us show you a good time in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. We got some gentle ocean breezes blowing in the ballpark tonight. It is delightful this evening. Hokies are here, Cavaliers are here. Little college rivalry night. And why not? Because the Mets and the Nats may be the best rivalry in the National League East right now. So the skies are absolutely beautiful and clear, 80 degrees, and look at that humidity, way down from what it was Monday and of course last night. Nats at home now 22-12. The Mets on the road are 21-20. Washington working on a 3-game winning streak. So the Nats this month leading the National League, hitting almost 280, and the on-base percentage plus slugging right up around 800. Max, 10th career game against the Mets tonight. Good ERA, great opponent's batting average. And Logan Verrett, he's only made 8 career starts. He's 4-6 overall, 38 games total in the big leagues. And he's made 2 appearances against the Nats in his career in relief, totaling 4 2/3 innings. Hey, why not go back to the end of last season? Max Scherzer, October 3rd, Saturday night. Season was over for the Nats the next day, and the no-hitter was over for the Mets right there.
17 strikeouts, no walks. And the second no-hitter of the year for Max Scherzer. And you know, it was just a feel-good way to end the season. I'll tell you what, if he made the adjustments that I think he made, I'm expecting a big game from Max here tonight.
Now this season he made friends with a young guy by the name of Joe LaRocca at Citi Field when the Nats were there earlier. All of a sudden he picks up the ball and somebody in the first row in the bleachers gets to play catch with Max Scherzer.
That is one of the coolest things I've seen all season long. And that's his dad taking the video of the whole deal. Max just having a catch with a Mets fan.
Are you kidding me, says Dad?
Yeah.
Hey, nice commentary, by the way.
Yeah.
Not easy to shoot and speak at the same time.
Yeah, good thing he didn't reach back for that 97 and have a flashback like there was a runner on third, less than 2 outs.
That was cool. And Joe LaRocca is here in D.C., so that's very cool. And the Mets coming up as the Nats take the field. The Mets are last in the league now in hitting at .234. Only the Orioles steal fewer bases. Yoenis Cespedes in the number 3 spot against Max Scherzer, 3 for 11 career with a home run last 18 games, warming it up. Now, by the way, we must note Curtis Granderson was in the leadoff spot until about 35 minutes ago. He couldn't answer, so they bumped Alejandro De Aza from 7 up to 1 and put Brandon Nimmo in left field.
There's the arsenal for Max. Last start, he threw the fastball 59% of the time, average 94. Slider, curveball combo 29%, changeup 13. So you see the numbers, 8-5 with a 3.52. Opponents hitting .203 against Max on the season. He's kind of working on his arm angle, keeping his arm up. It was kind of sinking down last start. He struck out 10 batters, though, for the 4th time in his last 5 starts. Received the loss, his 5th loss of the season. Gave up 5 runs to the Brewers last start. Here's a defense for the Nats behind Max. Worth, Revere, Harper outfield. Espinosa, Rendon left side. Murphy, Zimmerman right side. Wilson, Ramos behind the plate. Dusty Baker going for the sweep.
At Dusty's ball club trying to get it back to 15 games over 500. Wilson Ramos has hit the Mets hard. He's hitting everybody right now. So Scherzer behind the mound. He'll stalk around a little bit and get ready to work. Alfonso Marquez, 18th here in the big leagues. He has the plate. The crew chief is Larry Vanover first base. David Rackley at second. Chris Guccione at third. Alejandro De Aza, 43 career bats in the American League, mostly against Max Scherzer. 11 hits were underway. It's a fastball upstairs. We're right on time at 7:10. Later start tonight. ESPN is here. MASN is always here. And the second pitch is fouled back. Max 6th in the league in opponents' batting average at 203. 5th in innings, 107. 2nd in strikeouts, tied with 138. And a foul tip. Counts even.
Talked to Mike Maddox today, and he said they worked on keeping his body on line with the target and kind of throwing the chest toward the catcher's glove and just have the arm be a byproduct of everything else synced up, because Max has a lot going on with his delivery and on line. So a lot like a hitter hitting. If your feet are in the right place and your hips open up and all that stuff on time, the bat just trails along, right, for the ride and does the damage. Same thing for a pitcher. If everything's on time and you're staying on line, not spinning out of there, the arm just trails as a byproduct of all that good stuff going on first.
2-2 pitch, and right there is Anthony Rendon. Next to the switch hitter Neil Walker, and then Yoenis Cespedes. '30-year-old second baseman hitting .262 from the left side, .246. He only has 3 career hits against Max, but 2 of them have been over the boards. Having a 1-for-7 series with an RBI and a walk. And Wilson Ramos has taken 2 shots in this game already on foul tips.
Here's the latest foul tip. Where'd it get him? Oh, double damage, right? Ricochet off his mask at his forearm first. Can't hurt that forearm. Throw that ball out.
Two pitches before. Oh, almost the same thing.
The Mets are hitting the ball the wrong way.
Scherzer will take some off. Drops in the curveball. And the count 0-2 to Walker. So the Mets are hitting .234, lowest batting average in the major leagues. They're living by the home run and dying by the lack of hits. That is just outside the bag.
Pretty good swing, and that was pretty close.
Here's the 0-2. Tom Goodwin getting out of the way of that one. Walker solid against the Nats. Not as good as Murphy against the Mets, but 2 quality second basemen in this series. Good sticks. Here's an 0-2 with 1 out. Got it. So Max going off speed early to get a couple of strikes, and that's his first K.
Let's watch the release point on the curveball. That was one of the points of emphasis in the bullpen between starts, getting that arm up on the curveball and getting on top of it and just pulling the shades down. The first one for Max is a beauty. See where the release point is right there? On top of it, fingers not on the side of the pitch. And look at the 12-6 break on it. A beauty for Max Scherzer. So implementing what he worked on between starts, you see the results real early in this one.
Cespedes in the series, a walk, 3 hits.
You know, I think, Carp, it's the beauty of the game. No matter how good you are, how much money you're making, how long you've been doing it, your resume, it's always a puzzle that you're trying to solve. It's a work in progress, and you'll be doing it to the day you retire. If you're a hitter, same way. If you're a pitcher, he's got a lot to look forward to. Same thing. You're always trying to figure it out. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? And the guys that embrace that challenge and love it are the guys that are usually the better players. Let's watch this one right here. Slider, 87. Nice.
Yeah, he's got both breaking balls going on here. Now the 0-2 shows him the heater away. swing and a miss on 97, and it probably looked 100 after the curves and the sliders. 1, 2, 3 goes Max against the Mets. Hard hitting again, Washington Nationals. Batting average up to .254, tied with the Cubs going into the day. Jason Worth all over the bases. In this series, just 1 hit, but he's driven in 2 runs. He's drawn 4 walks that have extended some innings, led to some rallies, and then Harper, Murphy, and Ramos getting it done behind him. Ben Revere in there tonight, 4 hits in the series. And here's the usual reliever, 26-year-old Logan Verrett.
Yeah, last appearance was in relief on June 26 against the Braves. Marks his first major league appearance since being recalled. You remember he was here earlier in the season from Vegas on the 22nd. So he went 1 inning, gave up 1 run on 2 hits through just 15 pitches. So fastball 90, slider 84, curveball changeup to go with it. And a guy that really has to rely on command, working to a corner, and definitely keeping the ball down.
Ben Rivero for 1 against him. Nats haven't had that many at-bats. Looks like the most. Anthony Rendon 1 for 3. Ben hitless last night, had the fabulous game on Monday. And the 0-1, that ball hit well out to the gap in right center, and cutting it off and catching it, Alejandro De Aza. So he moves from left field to right field with the lineup change, and the ball finds him.
Here's the Mets defense. Nimmo, Cespedes, De Aza, Cabrera, Johnson left side, Walker Loney right side, and Rivera behind the plate. There's Alejandro De Aza, last minute replacement for Curtis Granderson. His calf was tight. You remember he couldn't get that calf loose after the rain delay, and Terry Collins decided, let's not take a chance, so shut him down today.
Collins and his Mets 5 behind the Nats, as are the Marlins, who lost 1 today at Detroit. Here's Jason Worth. .348 his last 18 games. That's 18 walks, 12 runs.
3rd day in a row I've introduced the Mets defense, and the 3rd day in a row I've had to slow down and almost said Nimmo.
1-1.
Because it's the first name and it looks like Nimmo, but it's Nimmo. Nimmo.
Yeah, they like him. He's 3 for his first 12 in the big leagues.
Nimmo.
Couple of hits Monday, another one last night. Worth will reach out and drop one in front of Brandon Nimmo. Kept it close, and Jason Worth has a 1-out single.
And there goes the Nimmo hitter. Jason Worth with the first knock of the night, stays on the slider, it looks like. 84 miles an hour, just serves it into left. Stay hot, Jason Worth. Almost got there. He had to keep that in front once he got too close to it. Could have been a triple if it gets by him, maybe more.
Bryce Harper 0 for 1 against Verrett. And seeing the whole left side open over there, tried to reach, and it's strike one. Trying to lay one down and really set the table for Murphy and Ramos. Daniel Murphy, another good series, on base 4 times. What else is new? Target away. Harper back to the pitcher. That one turned by Cabrera. And in the shift, the Mets turn a 1-6-3. Each pitcher faces 3 hitters. Scherzer retired all of his. So to the top of the second. Right back into the box, and pretty easy for a guy like Cabrera to turn that. Brought to you by Volkswagen. Sunday, June 28th, 2008. Nats O's and Ronnie Belliard, a 2-out, 2-run walk-off homer in the bottom of the 12th. Dimitri Young had pinch hit and walked, and they mobbed him at home plate. The Orioles had scored a run in the top of the 12th. George Sherrill gave it up. Joel Hanrahan the winner. And speaking of some DC history, how about Billy Kilmer on your left, Sonny Jurgensen on your right? They used to compete for jobs, and now they're sitting together having a great time. How about that?
And sporting the curly W's. That's awesome.
Top of the second, we welcome you, who saw the Orioles win for the 7th time in a row today. Baltimore now 47-30. With that win at San Diego. Top of the second, just underway here at Nationals Park. Max Scherzer, 13 pitches, 11 strikes, first inning. And he faces James Loney of the Mets to lead off the second. Scherzer really mixing things up here.
So, Hail to the Redskins, the first fight song my mom ever taught me when I was like 3 years old. So I grew up watching the Redskins from California and watching Billy Kilmer throw wobbly passes right on the money to everybody. And that might be my favorite shot of the year, those two sitting together. That is fantastic.
And if you guys in front of them don't like the cigars, tough. If you don't like it, go tell John Riggins. 1-2 to Loney. Bouncing ball right side. Daniel Murphy on the edge of the grass. Max Scherzer. Couple of strikeouts and 4 in a row to start the game.
My mom wasn't even a Redskins fan. She went to the University of Michigan, and it was always a debate. Was that a better fight song than Redskins fight song? So she just loved fight songs and taught me that one.
Well,
And how about the Stogies? That's fantastic with the Stogies. Oh, man.
Sonny went to Duke. Billy went to UCLA. And we've also got that Virginia Tech, Virginia thing going on here tonight. That's a base hit on a breaking ball by Asdrubal Cabrera, who did not wait and stroked a clean base hit to right. Cabrera now in the series, 3 for 9 with a walk.
Well, the first strikeout victim of Lucas Giolito, Asdrubal Cabrera. Looks like he got the curveball, barreled to it. Nice swing. Not a bad pitch by Max at all.
Next up, Kelly Johnson.
I mean, if Lucas goes on to have an amazing Hall of Fame type career, that could be a trivia question someday. First strikeout. Who was it?
Yeah. Kelly Johnson in the series, 1 for 2. 314 since coming to the Mets. A thoughtful Lucas Giolito watching the night after. One. Johnson career 5 for 23 against Max. 1 homer, 10 strikeouts. Hitting .237 overall. Mets got him for a right-handed pitcher, Akil Morris, on June 8th from Atlanta. Last year he was traded from the Braves to the Mets with Jose Uribe down the stretch. Hit .250 for New York on their way to the playoffs.
Speaking of stretch, Max having trouble out of it first time.
Upstairs, 2 on, 1 out. Let's talk about some of the debuts over the years. 2 of them by the pitchers have been here. Bryce's was at Dodger Stadium. So Strasburg, hard to believe, over 6 years ago now, 14 Ks against the Pirates. Bryce had a sac fly, a double at Dodger Stadium 4 years ago, and Lucas Giolito just 1 night ago. Here's Brandon Nimmo, 23-year-old outfielder from Wyoming. So he didn't know he was in the game until about 6:30 tonight. Now he's in a key spot against Max Scherzer in the top of the 2nd inning, facing Max for the first time. And he's had a 3 for 8 series. I've seen him take a couple of line drives to left field.
That's a good pitch. He wants a ground ball, so he's pitching at the bottom of the strike zone or below. And even though it's not a strike, I'm not saying it's a strike, it's just a good pitch. That's where you throw the ball to get a double play, and it barely missed. Close.
So Nissan on the pitch track. Outfield around to the left. Espinosa Murphy, double play depth. A lot of folks still coming in. Big crowd on Cavalier versus Hokie night here. The UVA and Tech fans throughout the ballpark. 1-2 with one out. Swing and a miss. 92 cutting action on Nimmo. Max's third K, 2 outs.
A nasty cutter. Where's the echo sign when you need it? Max Scherzer breaking out maybe his best cut fastball of the year. Sometimes you can't really see it. And that could have been an amped up slider too, the way it went down. Cutters usually just move across, then went down too. So 92 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Best pitch of the night so far by Max.
Here's Rene Rivera, 32-year-old catcher, 211 career hitter. Travis d'Arnaud gets an evening's rest. Rivera 12 hits in 64 at bats, 21 games. Number 8 batter up there, pitcher on deck, but you're not facing Danny Espinosa. So Max wants to end the inning here and pitch to Verrett next inning. Long look into Ramos. And just as Max came set, Rivera got time. That's in there. And the inning is over. Max Scherzer freezing the New York catcher with a dandy pitch on the inside edge. So he has struck out 4. That's 4 in the first 2 innings.
Nationals Park as we head bottom 2. It's rare to hear 2 managers say that a June baseball game is an especially big one, but that's what both Dusty Baker and Terry Collins said prior to today's ball game. Dusty Baker said the Mets are reeling a bit, and if we win, we get it back to a 6-game lead over New York, which is where it was before our losing streak. Just now that 6-game lead comes 12 days deeper into the schedule, and Terry Collins went as far as to say that he thinks the Mets need to win tonight. He said, we're playing the Cubs next. They're rolling again. The Mets then have to face the Marlins, who have been playing pretty good ball the last couple weeks. So Terry Collins knows he's got a tough stretch upcoming before his team needs to play this Nationals ball club again just prior to the All-Star break. So both the Mets and the Nationals know how important this game is, even though it's just in late June, guys.
Yeah, critical stretch for the Mets. Cubs, Marlins, Nationals before the break. All those at Citi Field. They'll fly home tonight. That pitch up and away, but a strike to Murphy. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting. That's Dan with our Coons.com sideline report. Daniel Murphy still leading the league. 101 on the hit total. Gene Segura of Arizona, 98 going into the day. Carlos Gonzalez of Colorado, 97. High in the air, right field. It's not hooking much, and it's a home run into the second deck. We have seen this all year long with Murphy turning on inside pitches, and he actually hit it, and it stayed straight to get out of here.
How did he keep that fair? Doing damage to his old ball club once again, and it looked like he sat on that curveball, and I have no idea how he kept it fair. It was a slow pitch, it was inside, so both of those scream, I'm pulling this over my dugout, but he got his hands inside of it, hit it high, hit it deep, and kept it fair. Unbelievable swing.
Wilson Ramos is next. Murphy's 13th of the year, leads the Nats with 51 RBIs. And he's on the verge of busting back into the top 10 in the league in that category. Ramos in the series, 3 for 8, 2 RBIs. Put on a clinic last night here of how to hit the ball hard.
Watch where this pitch is. It's a curveball, right? So it's breaking in. Look at him pull his hands in, and look where Rivera's reaching. That's so hard just on location alone to keep that ball fair, let alone speed of the pitch of a looping curveball. 424 feet just inside the foul pole. Amazing.
101. And it was hit number 102. So Murphy this year now has 3 home runs and 9 RBIs against the Mets.
He's just talking about how it just dropped right in there on his barrel. That's the same pitch we've seen Danny Espinosa hit over his own dugout into the third deck on a number of times, number of occasions this year. And Daniel Murphy just hit it in the seats fair. If I sound amazed, I am. I just have no idea how he just did that.
13 home runs for Murphy. Ramos takes it up and away, so Murph will obliterate the mark of 14 he hit for the Mets last year. Hit 13 3 years ago. The Nats keep hitting home runs. They have 103 now. And it's 3-2 to Wilson Ramos. He bangs one to the left side. Kelly Johnson to his right. Plenty of time to set for the throw. 1 out.
Yeah, show me that home run again. I'm still baffled by this. Look at the curveball. It's out of the screen. That's how slow it is. So he had to be sitting on it, but even if you sit on that, it's so hard to fire your hands inside the ball. When I say hands inside the ball, the baseball's coming, right? If your hands go outside the baseball, you come around it, you hook a foul. If your hands stay inside the baseball, now you're giving the barrel a chance to get to the baseball and get that 12-6 rotation, that true rotation, not hook spin. If you get hook spin, you come around the ball right there, hook's foul.
Yeah. I have to admit, I was very surprised when I saw the fans in that first fair section standing up waiting for a fly ball to
I wasn't
come.
even looking for that ball fair, and we get deceived all the time because we're so high. I was looking to the empty seats to the right of the foul pole. I didn't think that had any chance.
Ryan Zimmerman takes a strike after hacking on the first one. Against the Mets this week, Ryan 1 for 8 with a base on balls. 0 for 1 against Verrett career with a walk.
The wind's even blowing gently from left field to right field on top of everything, and he still kept it fair. I thought maybe the wind was playing with it a little bit.
Yeah, it's a hook wind, no doubt about that. Way outside is the target. Zimmerman reaches out and hits it to the shortstop Cabrera. As Drubel throws out Ryan, 2 outs.
DC Lexus dealers are donating $250 to the Children's National Health System for every Tater and Nats player hits this season, so keep them coming. It's for a great cause. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
Anthony Rendona's had a good series. 4 hits, 4 RBIs. Now that's better than good. And over his last 14 at bats, how about 7 hits? Hitting .299 now for the last month and a half.
Heating up.
And then comes the most dangerous number 8 hitter in baseball. 3 hits, 2 RBIs, 3 walks in this series. And Rendon takes the 0-2. Rene Rivera wanted an appeal and looked like none of the umpires were interested. Out to right. Ball tailing to Alejandro De Aza. But on an amazing swing, Daniel Murphy hits his 3rd homer of the year against his former teammates and his 13th of the year. We're not even halfway through the season, and he's 1 off his career high. Summer with us at Nationals Park with a Summer Saver Pack. Buy 3 2016 regular season games and get 1 free. Some restrictions do apply. Visit nationals.com/summer for all the details. Foie, available in the Nationals team store now. How about that?
Just heard a few of those.
That is the correct spelling. They had to do a lot of research on that.
Yeah, like ask a player.
To me, that's extensive research.
That is. It takes a long time.
Top of the third, Logan Verrett against Max Scherzer.
It's actually something Lucas Duda used to say to Daniel Murphy. And Murph just brought it over here from the Mets, and it's kind of caught on in the dugout with all the microphones now, and it's their thing.
51 RBIs. Logan Verrett 1 for 9 this year. Career 1 for 16. He's from South Texas. Town called, or a high school called Calallen High School in Corpus Christi. Went to Baylor. Hangs in there with a pretty good hack.
It's a competitive swing for a pitcher. That was a good hack.
Mets took him in the 3rd round of the draft 5 years ago. Max Scherzer now. First time through the order. 5 strikeouts.
Well, here's the first 4 in case you missed it. Neil Walker with a nasty slider. And then Cespedes with 97. A little movement away from him. And then fastball to Nimmo. And then Rivera with a strikeout too. It's time for Toyota Case for Kids. The Washington area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making that $37 donation to Children's Inn at NIH for every K by a Nats pitcher this year.
Alejandro De Aza. Soft line drive to Anthony Rendon, first time up. Started last season with the Orioles, hit .214 in 30 games. Traded to the Red Sox early June. Hit .292 there. Traded to the Giants August 31st. .262 down the stretch there. Mets signed him as a free agent 2 days before Christmas.
Pretty
Here's
good.
Mercedes-Benz on a close one.
Slider.
One-two pitch. Now it's going full. So first time through the order against Max, they go 1 for 8. Cabrera clean single to right. Kelly Johnson a walk. Got him on the edge. De Aza gave up on it. Has a word for Alfonso Marquez. And Max Scherzer now has struck out 6 of the first 10 batters.
Might have been generous, but he's looking for strikes. And Max has been pumping him in there so far tonight. So you're going to get the benefit of the doubt on borderline calls. And the fastball jumping out of Max's hand here early. Effortless 95 to 97. Usually you see that later in the start. Mets 10th in baseball with 159 strikeouts coming into this game. Nats 25th with 127.
One to Walker. He'll reach out and pull it. Ryan Zimmerman cuts it off with momentum to Scherzer. And Max now through 3 innings, just a hit and a walk. He has the lead thanks to the Murphy homer. Espinosa, Max, and Revere coming up. It almost happened last night. It did happen on Monday. The Nats scored 7 times or more. Yeah, how about 11? And won the ball game. When that happens, you get 50% off regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com. Enter promo code NATS50. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Official pizza of your Nationals. Valid at participating D.C., Maryland, and Northern Virginia. Papa John's. Danny Espinosa on base 6 times, driving in a couple of runs. He's just been all over the place. Scherzer on deck. Bottom of the 3rd underway.
Bunting for hits, hitting homers, walking. Not trying to force the issue.
2-0.
And playing as well as I've ever seen him in a Nats uni, period, on both sides of the ball, offense and defense.
Month of June, one of his best ever. 14 of his 34 RBIs, more than half of his homers. Ball hit Danny on its way down the line. And FP, over the years, we've seen flashes of it, but consistency now, a word we're using for Danny.
But I hope we're saying the same things in September we're saying right now, because if we are, he's going to have a monster year and get paid.
Two-one pitch. Way inside. More than shuffling his feet, ball 3.
See, that's a good job of getting out of the way. That was heading right for his knees. And Danny, with all the hit by pitches this year, when they start messing with the lower half, you have to get out of the way, or else you're just not going to play. You know, off the tricep, the shoulder, the ribs, that's fine. You know, those just hurt. But when you start messing with the lower half, that was a good job of getting out of there.
3-1 pitch. Didn't get a fastball. Verrett pulling the string and the count's full. Espinosa, .333 his last 19 games, driving in 11, scoring 15 times. Target in.
Heads up, heads up.
Logan Verrett, first 2 innings, 24 pitches, 18 strikes. He's given up 8 home runs this year in 43 innings. Target away. Espinosa hits it with authority to left. That ball in the air for a while, and Nimmo can't get to it. Danny Espinosa cruising into second with a leadoff double in the 3rd.
That was a great at-bat. If Danny Espinosa could do that with 2 strikes, start flipping stuff to left with authority, I mean, watch this at-bat by Espinosa. He got a 3-1 change and a 3-2 change. Fouled off both. Then another 3-2 pitch. He gets a heater away, and look at him stay on this. Head right on the baseball. That contact has fooled Nimmo. Kind of stood there for a second, went over his head. So a leadoff double for Danny Espinosa and a dandy of an at-bat. 571 in the series.
8th double. 21st extra base hit.
You know, Max Scherzer, when he squares around a bunt, of all the Nats pitchers, and maybe anybody I've seen in the National League, keeps his right hand lower than anyone I've ever seen. And I don't know if that's, hey, I'm protecting my right hand because I should, but look how low he keeps it on the bat. Hard to control it when you're down there, but it's safe.
Wow, look at that. perfectly moving it to the left side of the infield. So Espinosa's at third. Max can go take a breather. And that's good baseball. Now we'll see how the rest of the inning goes.
Nicely done. Some high fives for Max Scherzer. Even though his hand's low, he still gets the job done. It's in a safe location, and we're okay with that, especially when he lays down beautiful bunts like that.
Infield in for Ben Revere, who has driven in 13 runs. Hit the ball hard first time. De Aza went out to the gap to his right and grabbed it. So Ben looking for his second RBI here against the Mets. He doesn't go fishing on the first one. Ball one. And then he takes that one, which could have been a ground ball if he swings.
Well, you got to come to him now. Pair of changeups to get to a 2-0 count. If you're Ben Revere, you're saying, okay, here comes the heater. It's not like he's pitching around Ben to get to Jason, because Ben will be on second in 2 pitches. He's got to come to him.
Yeah, fastball, but he misses badly. 3-0.
Interesting.
First and third, 1 out, and Worth coming up at the top of the hour. So how about some 8 o'clock rally action here for the Nats? Bonus coverage on Masson for those who saw the Orioles win again today. So Masson's having a pretty good run here. The O's are 17 over. The Nats trying to win tonight to go 15 over.
Homers for days on both Masson 1 and Masson 2. Doesn't matter which one you flip on. The reason I said interesting, it looked like he didn't want anything to do with Ben Revere. There wasn't one pitch close really in that sequence.
Well, Worth a base hit to left first time, a flare in front of Nimmo, and everybody on the Mets think that Revere is going to be running. He stole 3 bases here. On Monday night, he has 10 in 13 attempts. And another guy having a great month of June, Jason Worth at 325.
I mean, you could sweep a series right now, right here. You have your ace on the mound in Max Scherzer. You have 2, 3, 4 coming up. First and third, 1 out. You have a team that's down right now. You beat them twice. This third inning could be huge for Dusty Baker's ball club. Big part of this ball game.
I mean, Jason Worth has a laser-like knowledge of the plate lately.
Yeah, he's seeing it big. Whatever adjustments he's made, his head is perfectly still, and he's deciphering pitch and ball and strike real early.
He looks like that machine at tennis tournaments that calls the ball in or out.
That was cool. I was watching Wimbledon today. Baseball needs that fair foul. That thing's awesome.
1-0.
I mean, there was one today on the back line that just a little sliver of the ball hit the line, and the whole crowd cheered. He overturned the call. I forget who was playing because I don't watch tennis. I don't know any of them.
Well, I'm not going to nickname Jason Worth Cyclops. I'll tell you that right now. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out. Outfield straight away. Infield straight up. Target way out there. Can't be a strike if you hit that target. Rivera set off well off the plate. 2-1.
Yeah, and baseball players, kind of rule of thumb, don't play tennis because anytime they try, it's just you grip the racket with 2 hands and you go deep. You never have enough balls to finish with.
Yeah.
It's like you serve to me, I'm going deep, I'm dropping the bat, and I'm jogging around the tennis court.
Logan Verrett, you saw his stats. It's only his 9th big league start, his 5th this year. Overall record 3-4 with a 4.14. Worth high in the air to center. Cespedes tagging Espinoza. 2 runners may be moving up here. Revere will stop. Danny home standing up. And Worth delivers his 40th RBI. 2-0 Washington.
Just missed it. You can see the frustration-ish by Jason as he's giving high fives. Just got slapped in the face for his efforts. That might have been Danny Espinoza. Can we show that again? So he'll take the sack fly. But somebody missed a high five and smoked Jason right in the face. I mean, he wanted a homer. He just missed a homer. Is that Espy? No, who is it? Yeah, it's Espinoza.
Yeah, he got the high five and then decided to slap him on the cheek. So here's Harper.
Oh, I like that. That made me laugh.
Outside to Bryce. Hit the ball sharply. One hopper back to the mound first time. A 1-6-3 double play ball that ended the first. But Bryce having a good series. 4 for 8, 2 walks. A homer, 3 RBIs.
So there's good times to steal and bad times to steal. Right now with Bryce Harper hitting and he's starting to get relocked, I might just hang out if I was Ben Revere and let my big guys swing. But if you walk in, you got a guy on deck who just hit a homer, so we'll see what happens.
Nissan will track it.
You don't want that early. That's a pitcher strike. Close.
Inside the Numbers brought to you by Jeep. Since August 1st last year, St. Louis Matt Carpenter, OPS almost at 990. Bryce right behind him. Cespedes on the list. And Chris Bryant's numbers took a bit of a jump the other night with 5 extra base hits. Up and away to Harper, 2-1. On deck, home run hitter Daniel Murphy.
If I'm Logan Verrett, I need to concentrate on Bryce Harper just a little more than I am right now. But now you're seeing the effect Ben Revere has when he gets on first.
In there, 2-2. Pitch count mounting for the reliever, getting a spot start tonight, replacing Steven Matz. Rivera was setting up outside, kind of moved across the plate to catch it. And now the count goes full and Revere on the move. And Bryce off to the left side. Good hack.
Pretty good balance after the swing, and that's what we've been noticing lately from Bryce. You know, 3-2 pitch, change up. Kind of right where he was when he started, not falling toward his own dugout.
Full count damage this year. Bryce has been on base 20 of his last 22 games coming into this one. Revere running 3-2, and Harper fouls another.
Bryce is always going to have a high average in a full count because he walks a lot. So there's a lot of at-bat minimizers in there.
Yeah.
So if you get a few hits in a full count.
On base percentage, 5th in the league at .403. Come on back, Ben.
Ben needs a timeout. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game. That's brought to you by Miller Lite.
Crowd making a lot of noise here. Bottom of the third. Nats 2-0. Harper takes ball 4. Fantastic at bat. 63rd walk of the year.
Seeing it again.
And now 2 on, 2 out for Daniel Murphy.
Seeing it big. And last time, if you missed it, just getting home from work. Look at where the pitch was. Look how slow it was. Top right corner of the strike zone, and Murphy stays inside of it. And somehow, some way, keeps it fair. I have no idea how he did it. Still marveling at that swing.
So Dan Warthen out there, the Mets pitching coach. Alfonso Marquez to break it up.
I think he said, don't throw him that curveball up and in again. But this is where Murphy sets traps. All right, you eliminate pitches in zones. He's eliminated the curveball altogether. So now if you're Logan Verrett, where do you go? Do you go fastball into him? Well, he just shot it in the upper deck, pull side. If I'm Verrett, I'm going changeup away. I'm going fastball away. And Murphy's so smart, he might be looking in there. And he's thinking base hit to left, not pull side here. So we'll see what he does. I would imagine the sequence would be mostly away.
Strike call on the inside edge.
He wanted it away. He made a mistake. Murphy wants to know, okay, he was setting up outside and that was inside. Are we good?
Murphy already hunting his 33rd multi-hit game of the year. That one got more of the plate, a little bit to the outer half, and the count's 0-2.
That's a good stat.
Clutch.
That's a real good stat. 2 out RBIs are golden.
Did you hear the exhale after that swing? Murphy taking a big hack. Pittsburgh, by the way, more 2-out runs than the Nats, surprising a bit. Pirates have struggled most of the year. Well, Dusty knows the importance of this at bat. A 2-0 lead could take a quantum leap here as early as the 3rd inning. Murphy strikes out. 84 downstairs. College rivalry night here. Yeah, you know the old Hokie cheer. Hokie, Hokie, Hokie high. And then, of course, on the other side, Wahoo Wah.
Wahoo Fwa.
Yeah, that's good. Well, Baseball is brought to you by the RAV4 Hybrid. All-wheel drive and unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com before it gets dark. To the top of the fourth, Nats 2, Mets nothing. Trying to sweep this series. 2-3-0 Washington, 0-1-0 New York. So through 3, Max Scherzer, 15 pitches per inning. He's at 46 with 31 strikes, great ratio, and 6 Ks. Through the heart of the Mets order here, Cespedes, Loney, and Cabrera. Yoenis Cespedes struck out first time swinging. Scherzer showed him some off-speed stuff early in the at-bat and then threw 97 by him. 93 back to the screen. It was a long inning for New York, 30 pitches, and the Nats got 1 run.
Well, Max has given up 20 home runs this year. And the reason why is he throws a lot of fastballs and he throws them middle away. Rarely do you see Max throw a fastball into anybody, off the plate or on the inner half. He likes to stay middle to the outer half, whether it's righty or lefty. So a lot of times you see swings like Cespedes just took right there for strike 2 because there's really no fear of 97 hitting anybody.
So that was the changeup, and Yoenis Cespedes out ahead. He's had a good series, 3 for 9 with a walk.
There's certain guys you face, Carp, that threw upper 90s. If they whizzed one by your ear or just anywhere near, it was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I don't feel very comfortable facing this guy.
Got him in the dirt with 89 sliding away from him. Strikeout number 7. Cespedes, by the way, the most important stat of all. No RBIs in this series.
He'll chase out of the zone, and Max goes with an 89-mile-an-hour slider. Good pitch. 7th strikeout.
James Loney knows Max well from the American League, 8 for 27 career. Couple of home runs.
Well, this is an all-4 pitch for strike night. He hasn't got to the changeup a whole lot, but the slider, curveball check, fastball check, and if the changeup starts working, look out. There's a changeup.
That one in on the hands of the left-handed batter.
I'll tell you what, I've been a fan more than I've been a player or a broadcaster. If I went to a Max Scherzer start, every time he had 2 strikes, I'd be going nuts. Because I would go to the game just to watch Max strike out guys. I really wouldn't even care the outcome. I would go to see Max and see Max strike guys out.
Well, last inning, I heard a bit of a buzz going through the crowd when he had struck out 6 of the first 10. Walker made contact. Now it's 7 out of 12 hitters.
I'm talking first inning, 2 strikes. I'm on my feet going nuts.
2-2 pitch. And over to the left side, Danny Espinosa has an angle. But Anthony Rendon gets out as well as any third baseman you'll see. So straight back he goes to make the catch, 2 down.
Celebrate Johnny Holiday's America's 240th birthday with the annual Independence Day game at Nats Park, part of the Patriotic Series presented by SAIC.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Watch the Nationals take on the Brewers and get your 4th of July festivities underway. 11 a.m. game. It's the best day of the year besides opening day. Be here. It's the only place to be. And then you go out and have fun afterwards.
Hey, we're all older after last night. Long night at the yard and worth every second. As Drupal Cabrera swings through one. He has the only hit for the Mets. First pitch swinging for the second time in a row. And 2 innings ago, clean single down the right field line. Bryce went over to cut it off, held him to a single. A walk later in the inning. And then Max struck out the numbers 7 and 8 hitters.
Can I stand up and cheer right now? Is that okay?
Fine with me.
All right.
But there is a sign that says no cheering in the press box.
We're not in the press box. We're in our broadcast booth. We can do what we want.
It used to be one and the same. I'm not sure anymore. Cabrera thought he had his pitch, evidently. And this one into center. Ben Revere waiting for it. Max Scherzer through 4, 1 hit, 2 batters. Outstanding. Ramos first up in a moment. Something's up when there's only 4. It was announced on the PA system by Jerome that it's National Camera Day. So Tom Jefferson stopped all 4 of them. I think you know what's going to happen.
What are they going to do when it's National Mascots Heads Pop-Off Day?
I don't know. By the way, they love it in Charlottesville, all the UVA people with their hometown guy, Thomas Jefferson. So freight rail works. Due up, bottom of the 4th. Wilson Ramos against right-handers, big-time damage. Ryan Zimmerman always throughout his career against the Mets. Anthony Rendon, spectacular over the last week. So bottom 4, 2-0 Washington, out hitting the Mets 3-1. Logan Verrett about to throw his 55th pitch. And he spies the changeup and takes it.
George Eastman was known as the father of photography, Bob.
Yeah, Eastman Kodak.
He brought the camera to the masses.
Well researched.
Thanks.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
The original camera was large and bulky, but now has evolved into something as small as a pen.
Sounds like computers.
It's a good hat. I like it.
Way outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The Buffalo hat, 2 horns up.
He might be voting as we speak.
Vote for the Buffalo.
Way outside, 3-2. Logan Verrett, couple of walks, but a lot of long counts. 1 strikeout. Murphy last inning threw 3. 3 hits, 2 of those for extra bases.
Oh, nice play.
Got the leather in row 1.
David Wright picking it at the hot corner. You got lefty. He was trying. I was going to backhand it, but then I heard you call it, so I let you have it. Nice play, David Wright.
Yeah, we'll give the Mets fans that one. Wilson Ramos, another good at bat by a Nat tonight. He's aboard. Not an easy guy to walk, 17 all year. Next 5 ball games, 4 of them against the Cincinnati Reds. So tomorrow night, it'll be Brandon Finnegan and Gio will go. Later in the series, we'll see Tanner Roark and Joe Ross. 7 o'clock tomorrow. Make a special note of Friday's 6 o'clock game. 7 on Saturday, the traditional 1:30 on Sunday. Then the Brewers are here for the 4th. Cincinnati Reds beaten by the Cubs today. They're going to come to town with a record of 28-50. But for the last year and a half, they have played the Nationals tough. They've beaten Washington 7 out of 9. Second time tonight, Ryan looks up and the scoreboard says 0-2. Bouncing ball to third, first time up. They want to go up and in. Rivera held the mitt there for a moment. Ball 1. Tapper pouncing on it. Verrett. 1 out. Ramos to second.
Oh, Anthony Rendon's had a big series and maybe the biggest hit he's had all year. And he's had some big ones against Noah Syndergaard the other night. He's throwing 100 and then he drops this nasty slider on him. He stays on it, goes the other way, finds a hole. Wilson Ramos, or Murphy would score, and then Wilson Ramos behind him, excuse me. And then Tony Three Bags last night. Right center field gap. That would score Wilson all the way from first. You remember the ball kind of checked up underneath the scoreboard there. Granders had to go in and get it. Everybody on the top row cheering. So Anthony Rendon starting to heat up, folks.
4 for 9 in the series and 4 big runs driven in. Chance for another here.
And the fact that Danny Espinosa is swinging so well might give Anthony Rendon a chance here to see something to hit. That was a mistake by Verrett. Rivera wanted it up, and he threw it right down the middle. Belt high. Watch where the target is. He's almost standing up. Watch how high he wants this. Watch where it is. Oh.
Mercedes-Benz on that pitch track, 1 on, 1 out. And a 1-2 now. Bounces way out in front of Rene Rivera. Two games ago, Farveretti threw 87 pitches at Milwaukee in 4 innings. 91 at Philadelphia back in April in 6 innings. And the Nats have him on the verge of 70 here in the 4th. Rendon, a great swing. It's to right field. Hanging up for De Aza. And just back in time. Wilson Ramos, tough base running play for him. He read it and got back. Inning still alive for Danny Espinosa. It's 2 line drives to right by Rendon.
Yeah, this one just stayed up too long. Great swing by Rendon. Look at him down and in, inside out, barreled the baseball. He's thinking knock or BI. Stayed up too long. Nice play, by the way, by De Aza coming in to make a nice catch. Ramos hustling back. That was close. Are they going to walk Espinosa finally? They have to. Right?
You would think.
There you go.
Okay. Take it personally, Max.
Yeah.
4th walk of the night. But when you're in danger of being swept, you're down by 2 in the enemy ballpark. It's in the middle of the game. Your starter is throwing tons of pitches. They cannot afford to fall behind 3-0 or 4-0 here.
They've already had one starter in the series go 3 innings, so the bullpen been worked hard in this series.
Yeah, the bullpen had to work 5 after Syndergaard left Monday night. Another 4 1/3 last night as Harvey, because of the rain, couldn't make it through the 4th.
What do you think you could beat Ace Max Scherzer at? Show us. Tweet your challenge using hashtag #IChallengeMax. They'll pick a winner to face off at a head-to-head competition. The Fan Challenge is brought to you by Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield. Live fearless with a name trusted for over 75 years. I could beat Max at absolutely nothing.
I would have no shot in a staring contest.
Nothing. Nothing.
Max Scherzer on the year. 5 sacrifice bunts. We saw one earlier. He's 5 for 35 with 3 RBIs. And a couple of hops out to Cabrera. That's it for the Nats in the bottom of the 4th. New York 6, 7, 8 coming up. 2-0 Nationals. Daniel Murphy has done it to the Mets again. So it's 2-0 as we go to the top of the 5th inning. When you have insight, you know how to handle your finances with confidence. Brought to you by PNC Bank. For the achiever in you, so Trey Turner hitting just under 300. Brian Goodwin just under 290. They're both going to the AAA All-Star game to represent the International League. Turner with the runs, the speed, RBIs and runs for Brian. Longtime Nets prospect. Congratulations, gentlemen. Well done. Kelly Johnson, Brandon Nimmo, Rene Rivera, top of the 5th. On the edge, strike one.
But curveball's been nice for Max all night. The pitch that he really doesn't use a whole lot, just 9% of the time last start. I guarantee you it's way higher this start.
Well, that's what you call carving up a hitter. 97 to finish off. Strikeout number 8. Let's go inside the numbers. So Scherzer now over in terms of strikeouts with 146. Clayton Kershaw, Dodgers aren't sure when he'll be out there again. Jose Fernandez started the night tied with Max. Steven Strasburg still on the list. Shows you how many he had.
You know, when
and those guys are all National Leaguers.
visiting broadcasters ask us about Max, or maybe say ESPN or Fox are doing a game, I say he'll let you know in the first 10 pitches if he's going to have to battle, which he does great, or it's going to be one of those nights, one of those special nights. And how you can tell is the fastball. When it comes out and he has velocity early and location, look out. And if the secondary pitch of the day, which is usually 1, turns into 2 or 3 for strikes, now you're going to have trouble.
There's a ball driven to left, but it stays up for Worth. Jason always battling the lights at the tail end of that play. And if you're ever at the ballpark and you see Jason do that, look up on the right field side, first base side, and see how low the lights really are.
Man down. He's trying to create an angle. Look at him, just the last time he saw it is where he put his glove and it went in. Nice play.
Rene Rivera struck out looking first time.
He's had a lot of trouble with bright things lately.
And he said that last out on Sunday in Milwaukee, it was right in the sun until the last second.
It was. We got a replay we got to show you. Watch Anthony Rendon. Just watch Rendon. Don't watch Jason. Watch Rendon. Boys are having fun.
He'll have some guys waiting for him at the end of this
Jason
inning.
got slapped in the face. He's got other guys laughing at him. I mean, he's a veteran of the team. He's the guy. Espinosa, left side of the infield's beating Jason up.
Here's the 0-2 to Rivera. Up and in, not by much.
He's going to have to stuff a few people in their lockers after the game once he sees all this stuff.
Now it's 2-2. Pitcher on deck. Logan Verrett has thrown 76, but he is waiting to hit. Mets need some innings out of him. Still a close ball game. 2-2 pitch. And this one high in the air, right side of the infield. Ryan Zimmerman, arms outstretched. He's got it. And Max Scherzer has retired 11 in a row since a second inning walk.
So what do you got? The Rat Packs: Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford, Joey Bishop. That is not those guys you're looking at. But July 2nd is Rat Pack night here at the ballpark. First 25,000 fans, you get a special Rat Pack poster. Plus, if you get the golden ticket, Willy Wonka will let you go into the chocolate factory. Visit Nationals.com/Rat Pack night.
That's a name I hadn't associated in the past with that group.
Oh,
okay.
Willy Wonka was part of the Rat Pack for sure. So the lights is something every outfielder looks at when you go into a ballpark. Jason knows them well. It's his own ballpark. If they're right over the dugouts, you know you're in trouble on low line drives. So there's the DC slapper, Danny Espinosa, and then Anthony Rendon, the giggler. I'm telling you, Jason is going to find out. Jason knows everything. He is more aware of everything than any ball player I've ever been around. If you say something on a random radio station in Idaho, he hears about it. He knows. He knows where you live, and he'll find you. So he's going to find out about all this stuff later. He obviously knows who slapped him.
Ben Revere 0 for 1 with a walk. Two good at bats tonight. That one over the pitcher. We'll see how close at first. Real close, and he beat it out. Neil Walker doing everything he could, but Ben Revere, once that thing gets by the mound, he's got a shot.
But that's where the value in Ben Revere's speed is. As an infielder, I know that if Ben Revere hits a ball on the ground, I got to hurry. So he hits it on the ground. It's not a fly out. And watch Neil Walker in a panic because he knows it's Ben Revere, can't get it out of his glove. So the threat of speed as an infielder puts so much pressure on you, and you saw the result right there. So slap a ball up the middle, slap a ball in the 6-hole, get the ball on the ground, use your wheels, and you never know what's going to happen.
Ben Revere now in this series 5 for 11 on base 6 times. Worth base hit, sac fly tonight, and Revere's going to bite the dust for the umpteenth time. He got thrown over on a lot back in the third when he walked with 1 out. Harper next, Worth in the box. Off speed, up in the zone. It's in there, 1-1. Worth in the series on base 6 times. 3 RBIs. It's just a litany of offensive success the Nats have enjoyed in these 3 games. Inside the numbers with Jeep. So we look at winning percentage, runs per game, no contest, homers, pretty close, ERA close.
There's some pretty good teams that are first and second too, by the way.
Yeah.
Probably Cubs and the Giants, number 1 and 2 in a lot of those.
Cubs won their 51st today.
Are they 25 over now?
They are.
I think the Giants are 19 over going to action tonight.
They are.
We should call that 24 overrated because regular season records don't matter. I'm convinced. Just get into the dance. Get into the playoffs. Panthers were 15-1. Caps had the best record. Warriors had the best record. Doesn't matter. Be playing well. Get hot in September. Take it right into October.
Yep.
And I promise I'll say that too if the Nats have the best record in baseball in July or August. I will. It's overrated.
Yeah, best record. There is a ton of value in baseball, though, by being in first place in your division.
Right.
1-2 to Werth, and that's an easy take. Mets bullpen starting to move around in left field. Big hitters coming up. Logan Verrett has been pitching with men on base in every inning. Murphy circled the bases to lead off the second, then he got 3 outs. He's thrown a lot of high stress pitches. Number 84 coming. Werth up the middle, knocked down by Walker, and they will still turn the 4-6-3. Asdrubal Cabrera about as slick as it gets around that bag. Second double play of the night that's kept Logan Verrett from even more damage.
That's a good call. It was a pretty turn. And Walker stays with it, and watch his shortstop pick him up. I mean, the ball was hit hard, so you have time, but watch Cabrera just get rid of it all in one motion. And Ben Revere threw a leg up. I wonder if they would have challenged that if Jason Werth was safe.
Here's Harper. Bryce 0 for 1 with a walk. Right-hander Eric Goodell. One batter last night, 2 innings the night before. Against the shift, an outside pitch. Maybe that ball's a little lower. Bryce takes it right at the umpire for a hit, but he took it, and it's 3-1. That bat's made a couple of loud sounds in this series. That's a strike in the zone, upper part, 3-2. Don't see Bryce chase too often. That pitch number 6 way out there. He managed to foul it off.
Pitch number 5 is high. Was high. It's not still there. If it was, it would be on a tee.
Here's the payoff pitch with 2 outs. Harper, right field line, couldn't keep it fair.
Similar pitch to the one Murphy hit out. That one a changeup. Murphy's was a curveball that kind of dropped straight down the elevator shaft. See him loading up that backside, the hips driving toward the baseball, and the bat kind of vibrating. Means he didn't hit it on the sweet spot. Didn't have that sound.
Turns on that one, and a hop into the glove of James Loney. The Nats are done in the 5th. Max Scherzer back to work. Verrett due to lead off, 2-0 Washington.
little bit of news to report today. The Nationals have signed veteran pitcher Matt Latos to a minor league contract pending a physical. The Nationals were actually the last team to face Latos before he was released by the Chicago White Sox. They roughed him up a little bit. Dusty Baker has experience with Latos, managed him in Cincinnati. He said today that it's a good signing for the Nats because it provides depth in case of injury. And Dusty also added September's right around the corner. He said that he knows that even though Latos got hit around in Chicago, that there's more in there. He said he's not old and he's not hurt anymore. And the organization came to Dusty and asked what they thought of Matt Latos. He said it's up to him to bust it and get back. I like the guy.
All right, Dan, thank you. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting. Coons.com with our sideline report. Matt Latos, born in Alexandria. And here's Matt Reynolds to hit for Logan Verrett, top of the 6th inning. Reynolds 0 for 2 career against Max Scherzer.
I feel like on top of what Dusty said about Latos when we were doing our prep work for that White Sox game he pitched, that he had good numbers career against the Nats. So add those two things together, and that's probably why they signed him. You got him in there somewhere in the files?
About to be accessed. Going into that start, he was 4-2 with a 2.53 against the Nats in 9 career starts. Gave up 6 hits, 5 runs. Actually 6 runs, 5 hits that night. But he walked 4, and that really made it a short night, 4 1/3.
I mean, you'll see how motivated he is to get back here, and you can never have enough starting pitching.
Yeah, he was once a pretty feared right-hander in this league.
Yep.
Two pitch to Reynolds, and he stays alive. Matt Reynolds as a pinch hitter, 3 for 13, 2 RBIs. 1 hit for the Mets. First pitch single, 1 out, 2nd inning, as Drupal Cabrera pulled 1 to right. Kelly Johnson walked after that, and since then, forget it. 11 in a row, retired by Max Scherzer. A lot of it with contact. There's a strikeout, number 9. Nissan will track it.
Slider looking in. Kind of backed up a little bit, worked nicely for Max. Yeah, usually that one goes down and away. Did you see how he took his bat 2 down and away, but the ball didn't go there? It backed up.
Leadoff man Alejandro De Aza. Rendon even with the bag at 3rd. He's 0 for 2. A liner to Anthony, and a called 3rd strike back in the 3rd. One ball and 2 strikes.
Coming into tonight, the Mets have 109 hits on the year. That's last in Major League Baseball. The next closest team has 123. This is crazy what Terry Collins has had to endure with a lot of injuries this year.
Line drive, Murphy right there, 2 outs. And then Neil Walker is next. Antonio Bastardo.
That's with runners in scoring position with a 207 average. 109 hits. That's the lowest in baseball.
Bastardo, Murphy. First matchup, bottom of the 6th, and then Ramos and Zimmerman coming up.
Peanuts are in town. The Stars of tomorrow, just 30 minutes from Nats Park. If there's no traffic. For tickets, call the number on your screen or go to PotomacNationals.com.
You've been down 95, eh?
That is so false.
1-1.
I mean, if you go at 2 in the morning, yeah, 30 minutes from Nats Park.
Jonathan Papelbon can now be on the rolls of ex-Peanuts. 1-1. He threw a side session today, about 30 pitches, actually a simulated game. And looks like all systems go in the days ahead for Jonathan Papelbon on his way back. Expected to pitch back-to-back this weekend. Friday, Saturday at Harrisburg. 2-1 pitch. Max really mixing things up tonight. Speeds, locations, in and out, up and down.
So there's the fourth pitch, the changeup he's starting to implement now. We talked about fastball check, slider check, curveball check. Now the changeup, it's one of those nights. I mean, when he's got all four going, good luck.
This ball drilled high and deep to right center. Revere back there. Doesn't have to jump. The ball dives into his glove about 385 feet away.
Can of corn.
Max keeping it in the yard. And here's Murphy, who's left it. Your coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Clayton Kershaw heading back home. Lower back problems on the shelf. He is, at least for the moment. Now the Cleveland Indians are going for 12 in a row tonight. They have a lead 3-0 at Atlanta. Look how long it's been for them. Melvin Upton Jr. in San Diego last night. 465 feet. Wow.
And he robbed a home run from J.J. Hardy that was an amazing catch. Sunny and 75, wherever Jonathan Papelbon's at.
Together, there's nothing we can't solve. So visit the UPSstore.com for locations. And Terry Collins going to his bullpen now. After 92 pitches by Logan Verrett. It's the left-hander, Antonio Bastardo, 31st appearance. 5.28 ERA, strikeout guy, 33 Ks in 31 innings, but 18 walks. Scoreless 8th here with a strikeout Monday night. He struck out Zimmerman. Fly balls against Rendon and Espinoza. This time around, it's Murphy, Ramos, and Ryan Zimmerman. Daniel Murphy, 4 for 16 career against him with a home run. Don't groove one. Could be costly. It hit something. Looks like, and Alfonso Marquez called it foul ball.
Murphy not acting like he got hurt. So the Nats box. Home run by Murphy leading off the second. The RBI. Other one, Werth's sac fly with Espinosa, who had doubled at third base in the third. Murphy turns on another one. This fly ball nearing the right field corner and in foul ground. Alejandro De Aza there to grab it.
You know, because Max has been so dominant here tonight, that 2-0 lead seems like a bigger lead, but the Nats need a few more. I mean, they would like a few more, I should say.
Yeah, you're reading my mind. It feels real comfy right now.
Yeah.
Long way to go.
Could be fool's gold, you know. What is he doing? The wash behind your ears, Chris? What we got? There's some guys, seriously, throughout my experiences in baseball that just need to get off the DL. I mean, they just, when they're on the DL, it's please get better. And it has nothing to do with we need you on the field. It's we need you out of the dugout.
Go sit in right field.
We need you out of the clubhouse. And I feel like Jonathan, getting to know him now for the past year, might be one of those guys. You know, all the energy that he has for the 9th inning is just going everywhere.
Oh, 1 target away. Ramos on the pitch away, takes it hard over there to Neil Walker. 2 down, and with more on Papelbon, here's Dan.
Bob, Jonathan Papelbon is doubling as a coffee delivery boy today. The Nationals have gotten pretty into French press coffee, and Papelbon came out with 2 of them with Gatorade cups stacked up high on each and was delivering cups to all of his teammates in the dugout to give him a little jolt here in the mid-innings. So he does it all. He's a closer. He's chatting everybody up, keeping the guys loose, and he's giving them a little caffeine boost as well.
He's a barista.
Ryan Zimmerman against his left-hander career 0 for 9, including that strikeout I mentioned last night.
I'm told that French press coffee thing that Chris Heisey's implemented is really strong. Get you going. If you're bald, it'll make you grow hair. It's that strong.
That's strong. Ryan Zimmerman, 9 of his last 20 hits for extra bases, but just 1 in 10 at bats in this series, and a 1-2 with 2 outs. There was some contact with gear there on a ball that probably bounced 5 feet in front of home plate. Ryan had a double here, 6th inning Monday.
So I just got a tweet from Trip Keister, the manager of the Potomac Nats. They're on a bus right now watching the game. They're on their way to Myrtle Beach, and they're watching the Nationals. So
cool.
What's up, boys? Spent many hours on buses, but we didn't get to watch Major League games on buses. We played Tetris.
Played what?
Tetris and like little hand
Tetris,
games.
yeah.
And they're probably still recovering from Papelbon's visit down there.
Yeah. They too told him we need you off the DL very soon.
Can you go to Harrisburg, please?
What a great job Tripp has done down there.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Safe travels, guys. Go win some in Myrtle Beach. It's not a short ride. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Ryan Zimmerman now having a good at bat. He's worked it to 3-2. Anthony Rendon is next. He's hit 2 line drives to the right fielder tonight. Logan Verrett battled. It took him 92 pitches to get through 5 innings, but he only gave up 4 hits. Gave up a homer to the best hitter in the league. Other run on a sac fly. Zimmerman pulls it. Extra hop, and that did in Kelly Johnson, it appeared. So Zimmerman's aboard with 2 outs. And if that's an error, that'll be Kelly Johnson's 7th of the year, and it is.
You see him kind of shuffle his feet there. He was in no man's land. As a third baseman, there's 2 ways you go about it. You go get it, or you go back and create a bigger hop. And Kelly Johnson kind of just stayed right where he was. Anytime you get flat feet at third base, you see his glove kind of start to jitter a little bit. He was at the mercy of the baseball. Been there, done that a million times. You get frozen. Do I charge? Do I go back? He got caught in between.
Anthony Rendon, we'll see if the Nats can make the Mets pay. The series defensively has been clean. That's the first error by either club in these 3 games. Anthony Rendon in the series, 4 for 10, 4 batted in, 7 for his last 16. And Bastardo still getting it up there at the age of 30. Up in the zone, Rendon couldn't get to it, and the count's 0-2. Now Anthony Rendon has battled back even. This 3-game series against the Mets going to draw over 90,000 to Nationals Park. Just over 33,100 on Monday, just under 30,000 last night. And the ballpark is filled in nicely. Trying to watch the Nats go 6-3 against the Mets this year. Rendon gets jammed, and it's popped up for James Loney, and that's it for Washington. Bottom of the 6th inning. So Max Scherzer is going to have to continue to be very good.
Game summary. Visit Mercedes-Benz of Arlington to check out the 2016 CLA 250 lease at $299 a month. 2-0 Nats. We go to the top of the 7th. Story of this one has been Max Scherzer for sure, and how the heck Daniel Murphy kept his 75th career home run fair. But let's check out some Max K's. It's one of those nights where he's got all 4 for a strike, anytime, anywhere, any count. Fastball 94 to 97. The slider's been off the table. Curveball, he's been getting on top of it, and has probably the best break we've seen this year. Now he's starting to mix in the changeup, so good luck if you're facing Max Scherzer tonight. He's in the zone. It's good to see. Made the adjustments last start where he gave up 5 runs against the Brewers, and a nice bounce back so far in this one.
Poised to pitch deep into this one. Cespedes takes a strike. Yoenis Cespedes 2 strikeouts tonight. Fastball first time. In the dirt second time. 1-1, and that's a heck of a changeup right there. It's diving straight down to the right-hander.
See, 3rd time around, he's saving the changeup, and now the Mets are saying, well, slider, curveball are good. Watch out for those. And I haven't seen the changeup. How's that look? Well, he's showing it to you now. It's big league pitching, folks.
Cespedes leads the Mets in just about every offensive category. He's hit 18 home runs on the year. When they hit a home run or more in a game, even 1 home run, they're 35-14 this year. When they don't homer, they're 5-22. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss on a heater upstairs. Max Scherzer double-digit Ks. Cespedes 3 times.
7th time this year Max has struck out 10 hitters. 43rd career, and he just climbs the ladder here. 96, country hardball, and he's doing that stalking thing. Look out. There you go.
Max has gone double digits 4 starts in a row now. Set down 11 Cubs, 10 Padres, 10 Brewers, and now 10 Mets. James Loney, ball 1. That ball's well hit to left. Worth going over near the track. 2 down. Max Scherzer, 16 consecutive batters retired. Next up, Cabrera. You mentioned this a couple of days ago. Eyeballing the Mets as his next opponent. And he's been shining tonight in a divisional game against your #1 rival. Cabrera 1 for 2 tonight. High in the air to right center. Bryce Harper waiting. Game 1, the Mets led 4-0 the other night. Since then, they haven't scored in 22 innings.
Max Scherzer retiring everybody in sight right now. 2-4 Washington. Hey, the hits are great. You know the defense is going to be there. But when you're pitching like this, you're going to win some series against good ball clubs.
Yeah, and that's what aces do. I mean, they do what Max Scherzer's doing tonight. We thought he might do it last start. It didn't happen, but he worked on things between starts. He's been lights out tonight. 10 strikeouts, and the 2-0 lead seems like it's 20-0 right now with the way the Mets are swinging the bats and the way that Max Scherzer's pitching. But I'm sure Dusty Baker would love a few add-on runs right here, right now.
Yeah, still 2-0. Espinosa, Scherzer, Revere. Bottom of the 7th. Danny Espinosa, another good night double. Intentional walk. He's 4 for 7 with 4 walks in this series. Now he bats from the right side where his numbers have been on the rise. Just a couple weeks ago, Danny was hitting 180, 190 right-handed. He's just a click or two under 240 right now. A dramatic turnaround from this side of the plate.
Well, you just got to get into a tempo from that side. It might mean something as simple as you haven't seen left-handers consistently.
Pretty good hack on 0-2.
I always felt like as a switch hitter, I hit better right-handed when all of a sudden you see a bunch of lefties. And what did the Nats see on the last road trip? They saw 4 lefties in a row. Maybe 3 in Los Angeles and 1 on getaway day before they went to Los Angeles and San Diego. So what happens? You hit right-handed a lot, you get your rhythm right-handed, and your swing improves. You can go 2-3 weeks sometimes without seeing a left-handed starter. So then your right-handed swing gets rusty.
No balls, 2 strikes. Danny Espinosa scorches one to right center. Heading for the wall. It is caught by Yoenis Cespedes, who seemed like he was hanging in the air for a couple of seconds to grab a hot drive. 1 out.
What a play by Cespedes, and what a swing by Espinosa. Danny Espinosa's locked in. And this is the best stretch I've seen. And look at Cespedes just leave his feet, and you called it. He went straight Jordan Jumpman right there for about, seemed like 2-3 seconds in the air. The reason he left his feet is so when you hit the fence, you know, there's a little more cushion.
Yeah.
He thought he was closer, but nice play.
That's a pretty good jump with all that jewelry on. Got to add some weight, huh? Swing and a miss, Max Scherzer. Max 0 for 1 with a sacrifice. I think with the humidity down, the ballpark's playing a little bigger tonight than it has been recently.
It's cooled off.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference. And by the way, that might have been the best Exmo shot of the year. I mean, it was a good play. It wasn't a great play, but Exmo made it look like, how do you stay in the air so long?
.80 at game time. Washington temperature low 70s now.
Watch. Whee! It's a good play. That's a really good play. I said it was a good play. It's a really good play.
Two and 2 to Max. And a 2-2 now with 1 out. Scherzer, a swing and a miss. So Antonio Bastardo has not given a hit or a walk to the first 5, actually first 6 Nats. An error last inning. He stranded Zimmerman. Top of the order now, Ben Revere. Follow Nationals Baseball live with the MLB.com @bat app. So stay up to the moment with game day live game video highlights, StatCast, baseball news. Download MLB.com @bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Ben Revere 1 for 2. He's hit the ball well twice. A base on balls in between. Strike one. In the air, left field. Brandon Nimmo. Nationals go in order, bottom of the 7th. So Max Scherzer's at 98 pitches. He'll take the mound in a moment for inning number 8. Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals.
2-0 as we cruise to the top of the 8th inning. Guess who's coming to town? The Reds are coming to town. They visit Nats Park tomorrow through July 3rd. Join us for Ladies' Night on Thursday. Post-game Freedom Fireworks on Friday. Rat Pack Night on Saturday. And you can pick up a Herbert Hoover bobblehead on Sunday. Visit nationals.com/tickets for more details.
Now to the 8th inning. 6, 7, 8 for the Mets. Johnson, Nimmo, Rivera, same 3 guys who were set down in order 3 innings ago. Max Scherzer, 17 batters in a row. Kelly Johnson, hot shot. Daniel Murphy stays with it, 1 out.
This is where if Max locates early in the count, even though he's getting late in the game at 100 pitch mark, if I'm the Mets right now, I know that he's got all 4. He's throwing for a strike at any time. I'm not waiting around. And I would have been that way from the get-go tonight. But now that he's really established all 4, I'm hacking. Locate it, you get some quick outs.
Here's Nimmo. Hit a ball well to left field last time. Jason Worth battled the lights and caught his line drive. That way again, but foul. Wow, 80 on the breaking ball, just diving straight down.
Yeah, now what's coming? I don't know. Could be a fastball, could be a slider, could be a curveball, could be a changeup. He's throwing all for strikes, so I'm on my heels if I'm hitting. I got to respect 97, so I'm on the heater. You can't look for anything else, and that's why you're at the mercy of 3 other pitches. See what he goes with.
Mercedes-Benz showing a big hook there.
Rarely do you see a left-handed hitter fall off a slider off their back knee. That just goes to show you how good Max's is working right now. I think that's what Brandon Nimmo just did. Back knee.
And he dropped the mid-80s changeup in the dirt. Counts even 2 balls, 2 strikes. Seems like more breaking balls, doesn't it?
The changeup's been recent. I think if he throws a changeup down away right here after that 95 in, he's got him. But I mean, that's not really making a call tonight. I could say he could throw a slider. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's fun for Wilson Ramos right now. Put down whatever finger you want.
Yeah, he went off speed. That was the hook.
That back knee might still be barking. He went down after this swing. We got a baggie on the field. Security. Security. The bag will be ejected and no longer welcome in Nats Park.
So pitch number 8 coming. Hitter has swung at 5 of the first 7. Yeah, there was the changeup. He just let it go too soon. And it's 3-2. Up the middle, right through the mound and right by Max Scherzer. So 18 hitters in a row retired between Kelly Johnson's walk in the 2nd and Nimmo's hit here in the 8th.
Pretty good at bat by Brandon Nimmo. Fouled off some tough pitches, fouled one off his back knee, and finally got one he could handle. I'd say that's a whale of an at bat by Nimmo. Right back up the middle. And that was horrible, by the way. Horrible. I just couldn't help it.
Brandon Nimmo, 4 for 15 as a big league hitter. Dusty not on the top step, and now he is. Max Scherzer's at 108 pitches. The Mets have number 8 due up, Curtis Granderson. And it's already started for Max Scherzer. .108 pitches, 75 strikes. Cincinnati Reds are in town. Starting tomorrow night, Gio will face them. And Gio Gonzalez, left-hander Brandon Finnegan. He's 3-6, 3.83. Gio 3-7 with a 4.73 ERA. And Gonzalez, career 2-2 against the Reds with just over a 2.5 ERA. Finnegan's beaten the Nats once this year. Nats Extra pregame, 6:30 tomorrow night. Now, Curtis Granderson had been announced. Dusty made his move. Oliver Perez in there. Granderson 1 for 8 career against him.
Yeah, 2 pitches, fastball, slider. 4 deliveries, about 3 different arm angles, and a big out to get right here, right now. You know, I'd be saying it if the Nats were hitting right now. This is anybody but Scherzer for the Mets.
Yeah. Curtis Granderson had decent career numbers against Max Scherzer. 8 for 24, 2 home runs. But Dusty goes lefty-lefty here. And Oliver Perez in the 6th inning last night, bases loaded jam, struck out James Loney and got Matt Reynolds, actually Wilmer Flores, before Reynolds hit for him later to fly out to center. This ball is trouble. Out to left center, drops in, runner stops at second. And Curtis Granderson is 4 for 7 in this series. Now Travis d'Arnaud will bat because they've got to get him in the game anyway to catch.
You know, I know his numbers aren't spectacular against the Nats, but just with my eyes and what I've seen with Curtis Granderson, he always seems like he's on base and getting hits. And you look at his average and you say, well, why in the world is he hitting what he's hitting? You know, the low 200s, he's a tough out against this ball club.
So d'Arnaud's been announced. And that will be it for Oliver Perez, who faces one batter. Well, the Nats haven't been able to add on. It's still a tight ball game.
On the right, this is great. And talking about what Gio's seeing with hitters, they've been talking ever since Max came out, and Lucas hasn't said a word. He's just sitting there soaking it all in.
Blake Treinen, 34th appearance, 2.27 ERA. 31 strikeouts in 32 innings, 16 walks. Travis d'Arnaud is 0 for 2 against him. Double plays in order. Always have to think about that with the sinker. 2 on, 1 out.
Sinker in, let it work, get a ground ball, and go hit. That's what Dusty Baker is hoping.
Taking a while for everybody to get set here. d'Arnaud now just into the box. Got the grounder. It's a chopper to Rendon. He'll get the sure out at first, but the tying run goes to second base. 2 down.
No, good pitch. Didn't hit it hard enough to think about a double play, and now you got a real big out to get. And
Alejandro De Aza.
The biggest cheerleaders on the end of the bench leaning over the rail. Max Scherzer. This is for his win and the ball club's win. And here comes Dusty Baker, and he's going to the pen.
Well, he's got 3 lefties, but it's not going to be a lefty, it appears. Last night, Sean Kelly came in for the 9th inning with the Nats up by 5 runs. He got a 1-2-3 ninth. He threw 14 pitches, and Dusty likes Sean Kelly for this situation. Well done, Blake Treinen.
Promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And let's just soak this all in. Teammates giving Max some love. Dusty, way to go, kid. And then coming off to some Nats fans appreciating the effort. A little acknowledgement that his teammates saying, way to go, bro. So a beautiful night for Max Scherzer. He was on point with all 4 pitches. And now it's up to his friends to keep this a 2-0 game.
Max Scherzer went 7 innings or more for the 10th time this year. Sean Kelly and Alejandro De Aza know each other. In fact, De Aza has gone 3 for 3 career against the Nats right-hander.
Interesting.
And as I said, he threw 14 pitches in a 1-2-3 9th inning last night in a 5-0 game. Fastball whistles in there. You know, maybe Sean's one of those guys who's better the more and more he works. This whole 8th, 9th inning can be a different animal, but he's been okay. Way out ahead. Strike 2. It's time for 33,386 to stand up.
Agreed. Players dig that. They need it. They've been on the road for a couple weeks. They've been waiting for it.
Very close on 0-2.
Sean Kelly wanted it. He's walking toward the dugout. Pitch track thought it was outside. So we'll do it again.
Swing and a miss. And that's it for the 8th inning. Scherzer still in line for the win. Kelly, a big strikeout. Well, Dusty goes righty versus lefty. To some people, it makes no sense, but this man knows what he's doing.
And the Mets cannot buy a hit with runners in scoring position. What does Max think? He's digging it. So are we.
Baseball on Masson, brought to you by American Standard Heating and Air. It's their all-star sales event with up to $1,100 in instant rebates or 0% APR for 36 months. And by Airlines for America, where airplanes land, opportunity takes off. Dramatic top of the 8th inning. The Nats 3 outs away from a sweep, and they've got 3 outs of their own to work with here to try to get another run or two. It'll be left-hander Sean Gilmartin, who was the first reliever the Mets brought in when Syndergaard had to come out on Monday night. Nats got 5 runs on 7 hits on him in 2 innings.
My fastball, slider, curveball change. Those are changed 20% of the time. Fastball averages 87 miles an hour.
Travis d'Arnaud stays in to catch. He actually struck out Jason Worth in the 4th inning as the Nationals really got their rallies going. They had come back to take the lead, added 1 there, scored 4 more. Fastball. That's nasty. Inside edge right under his hands. 2-0 Washington, bottom of the 8th. Off-speed pitch. Worth popping it up to the right side. Foul ball, James Loney, 1 out. Next up, Harper. Johnny Holiday and Ray Knight, they got a busy ball game to tell you about, even though it's 2-0. So hopefully the Nats hold on, and we'll get it right to the Nats Extra postgame show. Presented by W.B. Mason. Kelly, 4 pitches, 3 strikes, and now 3 outs to get. Gilmartin walked Harper in the 4th inning Monday night.
I just thought about something. The advantage of a 4-out save opportunity is you get to go back in the dugout in game plan the 9th inning. Closers usually don't get to do that. Maybe with the bullpen coach down there while they're warming up, like, hey, this is who's coming up, this is who you're going to face. But to actually talk to your pitching coach, like we just showed you there, Sean Kelly and Mike Maddox, you don't see that too often, or have that opportunity.
Yeah. And I know we've talked about this in the past. Some relievers have a hard time shutting it down for a few minutes and then getting back out there. That doesn't appear to be Kelly's problem so far. He's done this before. Way inside to Harper. And Bryce, 3-0. Nats will take base runners any way they can get them right now. They've had one hit, Revere, in the 5th since the 3rd inning.
That's definite green light situation.
It's outside, and Bryce takes the 4-pitch walk. 2nd of the night, 64th of the year. So Monday night, Murphy batted twice against Gil Martin. RBI single to right, fly ball to center.
See him singing the song right there, his walk-up song as he got it in the box. I guess when you get 2 hits a night, you sing to yourself when you get in the box.
Leadoff man, 2nd inning. Here's what he did.
Look at that curveball just parachuting in there. Daniel Murphy fighting to get his hands inside the baseball. Kind of a bent arm swing and drove it out of here to the upper deck. Still amazed by that swing.
Earlier this year, he was over 400 at home. You knew that wasn't going to last. But I mean, we're almost halfway through the season, and he is still putting up staggering numbers. Daniel Murphy has done it again. See you later into the bullpen. He continues to sting his former team. And the Nats lead 4-0. That equals his career high in homers. Doesn't matter who's on the mound, righty, lefty, hard thrower, soft tosser.
I mean, I just got goosebumps. He is showing his old team a thing or two, and that's a nice way of putting it. Do you know how hard it is to perform against your old team? I mean, there's a tendency to try too hard to show them what they're missing, and a lot of times as a player, you just don't play well against them. Daniel Murphy is showing the Mets, you made the wrong decision by a long shot, and this is what you're missing. 2nd home run of the night. Look at him go down and get that and just one-hand it out of here. This guy's the MVP of the National League in the first half. I don't care what anybody says.
That's quite a way to get a multi-hit game with a multi-homer game.
I mean, that hit was huge. You had 2-0 lead. The Mets get one guy on. They pop one out of here. It's a tie ball game. Now it's a 4-0 lead, and they have to load him up. And Terry Collins is saying, man, I miss you, Daniel. Dan, as he called him earlier in the series. I don't think the Mets thought that Daniel Murphy could do what he did in October during the season.
Yeah, well,
they
were
thought
wrong.
that was a flash in the pan, a fluke. There's no way that's what Daniel Murphy is as a hitter. We've seen him for however many years here. He's a tough out, but there's no way he can do what he did in October next year. So let's move on. Let's sign Neil Walker, who's a good player, but he's not the most valuable player of the National League in the first half of the season like Daniel Murphy is. No way. And I got to say, I didn't see that coming either. So in you know, Sandy Alderson and the whole front office for the Mets defense, I don't think any of us did. He just had his coming out party in October, and now it's July, and he's still doing it.
And the other thing is, it took him no time at all to blend in with his new teammates, his new clubhouse. You know, most guys, okay, middle of May, here he goes. But I mean, First week of April, here he goes.
I mean, that must just feel so good. It has to. And he's such a pro. He's never going to sit there and rub it in their face and say they made a mistake. But I guarantee you, as a competitor, he's thinking it right now. He's thinking, I'm just burning my old team left and right. And I don't know which swing is more impressive, that one going down off the ground and hitting one in the bullpen, or the one that's coming at him and going to hit him that he keeps fair. Maybe we can show him both.
Both 1-1 pitches. Daniel Murphy now, 14 home runs, 53 RBIs. When the stat sheets come out in the morning, he'll be back in the top 10 in runs batted in again.
He's still thinking about his swing right now.
103 hits, 38 extra base hits. Ryan Zimmerman takes one up, and the count's even 2-2. And Zimmerman hits a high fly ball to right center. De Aza with the grab. Daniel Murphy has driven in 3 of the Nats' 4 runs tonight.
I mean, I got no words. Unbelievable. Tonight in the location of both pitches, in how he pulls his hands in on one and how he goes down, just digs one out. So the one on the left is the first homer. Roll that one, boys. Stop this at contact. Look where this pitch is. Look at him fight to get his hands inside the baseball. You talk about hands inside the ball. Now watch the second one. Left on left, the ball's down. Watch him dig this out. Look how low that pitch is. It's down by his knees. Go ahead and roll them both. And there's the homer with the 2-hand finish, and there's the homer with the 1-hand finish. Almost hit it with just 1 hand.
Unreal.
So 2 home runs with 3 hands.
Neil Walker, Yoenis Cespedes, James Loney. Not an easy inning for Sean Kelly here, but his cushion has been doubled, and that's strike 1. Walker career 0 for 1 against Sean with a base on balls, a strikeout. So Kelly on the attack with the 0-2 heater missing. Walker to left and out of play. So at the stroke of 10, the Nationals have a 4-0 lead. Yeah, 4 is a good number, trying to win their 4th in a row. The lead over Miami would be 5.5. The lead over New York would be 6. Some work left to do. Swing and a miss. Great slider by Sean Kelly, and he has struck out the first 2 Mets he has faced.
Subtle, short, late slider for strike 3. Watch this. It's a fastball. It's a fastball. Oh, no way. Tough to pick up. Good pitch.
Cespedes 1 for 3 career against Sean. Ball ripped. Espinosa unable to get to it. Cespedes had struck out 3 times before that. So for the series, he's 4 for 12. James Loney is next.
Yeah, a couple of my friends just text me and asked me how Daniel Murphy hit that ball out with one hand and how he hit the first one out with the bent arms. And it's a good question. It's because his lower half. He's got tremendous leg strength. So both of those home runs were hit from the hips down, and the arms were just a byproduct of him just firing, you know, those quadzillas that he has. And the backside is strong too.
Loney 0 for 3. He goes right field line, but it's foul. Oh-2 pitch, and that's drilled. Harper after it. It's out of here into the bullpen, and now it's 4-2. James Loney, 3rd of the year. The Mets go 24 innings between scoring in this series.
That Murphy home run's humongous, said Captain Obvious. Slider just sitting there. Tried to back leg it like he did Neil Walker for strike 3, and that one just kind of stayed there for James Loney, who deposited it in the Nats bullpen. 4-2.
Asdrubal Cabrera 1 for 3 career against Kelly. Nobody throwing in the bullpen for Washington. Counts even, 1-1.
Whew. I don't know if that was a strike, but he'll take it. Asdrubal didn't like it. See how Wilson caught that. That's rarely called a strike.
Yeah, hard to frame those.
Guy and Dex got popped. You got to get Asdrubal Cabrera any way you can.
Murphy, couple of steps onto the grass, right side. That ball's popped up. It's well out of play. Now Felipe Rivero is up. Kelly gets Cabrera. He maybe stays, but if Cabrera gets on, lefty, possible with Rivero and Johnson. The Mets have one player left on their bench, Wilmer Flores. Got him. 2 down. All 3 of Kelly's strikeouts. Kelly Johnson can't tie the game, so Sean's still in there. Johnson career against him, 1 for 2. This ball drilled to right. It's going to stay in the ballpark. Hits at the very base of the wall. And Kelly Johnson's at second base with 2 outs with the rookie Brandon Nimmo coming up.
Mets triple shy of the cycle this inning.
Kelly pitched last night. He got Nimmo to ground out to Murphy to end the game. Felipe Rivero has 1 save this year, 3 in his young career. Matt Belisle is up now. Nimmo's hit the ball hard twice. Line drive to left in the 5th, base hit up the middle in the 8th. And a lot more drama than we were expecting here in the 9th inning suddenly. Fastball up. Defensive swing and the count's even.
I mean, there's a reason why closers get paid the big bucks. It's no mistake that if you have a lot of saves and you're a quality closer, you're going to get paid, because the last 3 outs are the hardest ones to get.
Strike 2 now. I tell you, this rookie will take some rips.
Sticking with the heater, and I like it. Maybe try to go above the Mets logo here. You got some pitches to play with in a 1-2 count. Go higher than high. See if he'll chase with you. Elevate the heck out of this one. See what happens.
looking. 95 in there. And the Nats win it. It's a sweep. And they have a 6-game lead over the Mets, 5.5 over Miami.
Well, he changed his eye level. He was looking up. He swung at a couple high fastballs. He shoots one at the bottom of the zone, and Nimmo can just stand there and watch it. And this was a huge win for the Nats. They're right back to where they started before the road trip, a 6-game lead. The Max Scherzer show tonight, the Daniel Murphy show, and the Dusty Baker getting it done. Nice curly W.
Some saves take longer than others. How about this? 28 pitches, 22 strikes by Kelly. Murphy, the offensive hero, and the Nats sweep New York.